This presentation is an introduction to the novel study, The Alchemist. This is the 25th anniversary edition of The Alchemist book cover. So to recap the course so far, as you've moved through the units in this course, you have looked at the topics of intolerance through bullying, prejudice, racism, vulnerability, hardship, gender inequality, systemic prejudice, cultural and familial hatreds. In this last unit, the novel study, the unit is designed to look at your own journey through setbacks and intolerance as you find the means of self-empowerment to follow your own calling. In the novel The Alchemist, a young shepherd boy learns the power of alchemy, the transformative elements in life that are accessed by listening to one's own heart, and he makes choices that empower him to build his own personal legend. Hopefully you will see yourself in this allegorical journey and see how your journey, choices, and generosity of spirit empowers you and those who surround you. As stated, the main character in this novel is a young Spanish shepherd boy who has a reoccurring dream that he wants explained to him. When he finds out the meaning of the dream and is encouraged to seek it, he begins a quest to realize the dream or personal legend, as it is called. In his quest, he learns to open himself up to new experiences, to face obstacles, and to listen to his heart. By being receptive, persistent, and fearless, he is able to realize his dream. This story represents your journey to realize your full potential, your calling, your dream or personal legend. So what is an alchemist and why the title? At the heart of alchemy was the idea that all matter was composed of four elements: earth, air, fire, and water. With the right combination of elements, it was theorized any substance on earth might be formed. This included precious metals as well as elixirs to cure disease and prolong life. A person who transforms or creates something through a seemingly magical process is known as an alchemist. So this novel is about transformation. So questions that you might ask on the title: why might the novel be titled The Alchemist? The title suggests that a transformation will occur, much like the changing of a base metal like tin into gold. What is magically going to be transformed? In the search for treasure, the young man will be transformed through his experiences, and he will find his greatest treasure in that transformation. And number 3, how might the mixing of elements in the heating process be symbolic of one's life? The alchemist, in the mixing of the formulas to create gold through trial and error, is the trial and error we face in life. And through the boiling process, that's the testing or the struggles that we have within life, we'll find treasure or personal legend. So this course is focused on the topic of intolerance. How might intolerance be seen as providing an alchemical transformation within? Well, we can have the positive transformations, like it can expand our horizons. A multitude of experiences, especially negative ones, often help us to see something from a different perspective and teach us how to be more compassionate and empathetic. It can encourage us to be more reflective about our own actions and our attitudes. It can instill a sense of morality or ethics. It can make us more attuned to the omens or clues given out by others, which help shape our decisions. Or it can help us to understand the interconnectedness of the universe and appreciate the world's beauty. This course is focused on the topic of intolerance. How might intolerance be seen as providing an alchemical transformation? Well, we can also look at that in a negative way. It can lead to bitterness and anger. It can create disillusionment within ourselves and society and others. It can create a narrow-minded, closed down, defensive person. It can stop us from accepting our own failings, which limits our ability to work on ourselves. Thus, it stops us from thriving and realizing our personal legends. In the prologue of the story, there's a retelling of the myth of Narcissus. The Greek myth of Narcissus and his reflection is this. Narcissus was born in Thesbia in Boeotia. His mother was warned one day by a seer that her son would live a long life, as long as he never knows himself. As he reached his teenage years, the handsome youth never found anyone that could pull his heartstrings. Indeed, he left in his wake a long trail of distressed and broken-hearted maidens, and 1 or 2 young men fell by the wayside too. Then one day he chanced to see his own reflection in a pool of water, and thus discovered the ultimate in unrequited love, and fell in love with himself. Naturally, this one-way relationship went nowhere, and Narcissus, unable to draw himself away from the pool, pined away in despair until he finally died of thirst and starvation. Immortality, at least of a kind, was assured, though, when his corpse, or in some versions the blood from his self-inflicted stab wound, turned into the flowers which thereafter bore his name. Paulo Coelho alters a myth by showing how the lake responds to Narcissus. It says, "I weep for Narcissus, but I never noticed that Narcissus was beautiful. I weep because each time he knelt beside my banks, I could see in the depths of his eyes my own beauty reflected." What a lovely story, the alchemist thought. So what is Paulo Coelho suggesting about our quest for our own personal legend? In our quest, we have the ability to see ourselves through the actions and perspectives of others, but also in our quest, we have our own personal legend. We have the ability to impact others, positively or negatively. And finally, in our quest, we often need a reminder of the interconnectedness we have with the world we live in. So as you go through the novel, one of the things that you want to be doing is being an active reader. As you read the novel and follow the young shepherd boy, Santiago, on his journey, consider the prologue's message of the interconnectedness of the world and see when you really want something, the universe always conspires in your favor. Remember that annotating a text is a good way to critically read a piece of literature that you will be analyzing or writing about, and that is to read with a pencil. Take notes on changes in the main character, lines that reflect the change or further development of the topic, and insights in what the symbols in the reading represent. Also remember that an allegory uses characters and events to symbolize abstract ideas rather than actual events or people. For example, it's common for writers of conceptual allegories to use characters that embody particular qualities. Remember to see Santiago's literal journey as your symbolic journey through life. So look to see events in the novel on an interpretive level. For instance, Santiago has been a shepherd for 2 years before he sets out to find his dream. The sheep are followers, never questioning the shepherd, and Santiago feels he knows all about shepherding and the Andalusian countryside. This reflects how we as individuals often become comfortable and complacent in our lives, not willing to seek new horizons. We become the sheep. In the story, it says Santiago states he realized that it could be the other way around, that it was he who had become accustomed to their schedule. Thus, his first dream of being a traveler and seeing the Andalusia has been realized, and now he must take the next step to realize his personal legend or be complacent as a follower. Instead of the shepherd, he's become the sheep. And so this reference to shepherd and sheep is a reference to a leader and a follower. So here's his whole journey, and we can start way up in the left-hand corner at a ruined church with sheep and make our way all the way through this semicircle there, and then back up to the picture of the desert, the oasis, and back down up to the treasure. These are just kind of the steps that we're seeing, and each step is going to be on the interpretive side, so try to figure out what is being said about your journey in life through these different steps. Finally, as you read and annotate your text, keep in mind the following topic that you'll be writing about in the critical analytical essay submission for this unit. And the topic is discuss the idea developed by the text creator in your chosen text about the impact of an individual's pursuit of self-fulfillment. So this is about the pursuit of self-fulfillment and what consequences result from that pursuit.